Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. As always, we have a shorter group with us today, but of course, we have your top two pickers right now. Jessica, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Been running around all day, but I'm ready to do this video.
Absolutely.
Talk some football.
It's going to be exciting, kind of like last week with that overtime game in Atlanta. We had a lot of trades this week, which was pretty crazy. Bradley Chubb heading to Miami. Miami trading for everything. They traded away a running back and traded for a running back. So, what was your biggest? What do you think was the biggest surprise for you?
So it was a pretty crazy trade day, I guess trade deadline day. But I think for me, the wildest one was probably Hawkinson going to the Vikings because Detroit struggles so much on the offense, and obviously they struggle on the defense, right? But their only weapon is their offense right now, and they're Emmett, go.
So yeah, like she was saying, of course, TJ Hawkinson. Well, why don't you bring him on?
Come on, why don't you make a pick? Okay. Yeah, TJ Hawkinson. I mean, he performs really well. He's a very a high target for Jared Goff, and it's kind of a shame to see him go from there because I think he's really kept that momentum going in Detroit. But it's more shocking because he's going to their rival, right? Like he's going to Minnesota. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot. And honestly, the package that they got back for him was kind of absurd. A second round pick, a possible third round pick. I think they got a fourth round pick. They got a couple of picks for him for a tight end that has one more year left on his contract.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that he's going to perform wherever he goes.
Oh, absolutely. But you gotta be thinking as TJ Hawkinson, you're going from Jared Goff, who likes to throw it to his tight ends, to Kirk Cousins, who doesn't really throw it to his tight ends.
Well, maybe he will now.
It's true. Maybe he will.
I'm a Cousins fan. In fact, I'm probably going to try to start him this week.
It might not be a bad idea, especially with Hawkinson on the team. They're probably gonna get some. He's probably gonna get some looks.
I don't know if he's going to get a whole lot of play time this week.
You never know. Never know. My biggest surprise was Naeem Hines.
Oh yeah,
going to Buffalo. That is huge for Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean it is and it's not, right? Is Buffalo's backs injured at all? Because they've been performing pretty well as of late, especially.
They actually traded one of their backs. Zach Moss got traded in that trade.
But Singletary's still there.
Singletary's still there. But they've been looking for that pass catching back in Buffalo. And Buffalo doesn't make trades like that. They don't.
Yeah, but they've been in a lot of the talks to get like one more offensive weapon, even though everybody's kind of sitting back hoping they don't get anybody because if they do, you might as well just give them the trophy.
I mean, that's what people think. But I mean, they are a tough team to beat. They're a very difficult team to beat, and they just got that much better. That may have been what put them over. That may be what puts them over the top.
Just like Von Miller was for their defense.
Yeah, for the Rams defense last year. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because Von Miller could go from the Rams winning the Super Bowl to the Bills winning the Super Bowl the very next year.
He would be the first player in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 3 separate teams.
Yeah, that's true. Charles Haley did it with 2 in consecutive years, but it was the 49ers and Cowboys. And I don't think that he won a third one.
Nope, he would be the first one.
So, but yeah, of course, this is all brought to you by Aardvark Concepts Incorporated. They are more than just a sign shop. And in too deep of Maryland, make sure to look up their page on Facebook and check out when their next show is. There's not one this week, but we'll see if there's one coming up soon. So, speaking of shockers, this week, how in the world did we all end up with the same record?
I know, even with Brady picking some of those outlandish choices there.
Yeah.
I will say I was desperately hoping Carolina would lose, especially by more than they lost by, because I was like, Brady can't be right on this one. Sorry, Brady.
Especially since he was talking trash as it was going down.
Yeah.
But DJ Moore took his helmet off, got that penalty. They missed the extra point, and then they still should have won in overtime, but it just didn't happen. That interception should have won them the game.
Yeah, but there was also there was it was a terrible missed call. I don't remember what it was, but I remember um Atlanta should have, it was before it went into overtime. It was one of the last plays. Atlanta should have ended up really close to the end zone. And all the analysts were like freaking out, saying that was absolutely a missed call.
Doesn't surprise me. They always miss calls. Somewhere or other, there's always a missed call somewhere. But that being said, let's actually talk about those Atlanta Falcons in my game of the week. They go up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Quite frankly, I think this game is interesting for two reasons. One, the Chargers coming off a bye on the road. They don't do as well on the East Coast as East Coast teams do. The Chargers are a good offensive team. They're going to have to keep up with the Atlanta Falcons, who keep putting up points. And, the Atlanta Falcons keep winning games. Skin of their teeth. 500. The only team in that division that's at 500. Sorry, Tom Brady. At 3-5. Most of their division is pretty sad. The Chargers, however, are trying to keep pace with the Chiefs. Trying to keep ahead of the Broncos. And the Raiders, of course, are the Raiders. But
yeah, that's an ugly situation.
Yeah, it is. But that defense is what scares me in San Diego. They're not San Diego anymore. They're the Los Angeles Chargers. It's that scary. They're looking like the San Diego Chargers again. So, that being said, I think I really wish at some point they would put Desmond Ritter in there. I think he's the key to a couple more wins for that team, getting them to the playoffs. Of course, they could win the division by default at this point. I don't know. And
so who did you pick in this game?
Who did I pick in this game? I actually went back and forth. I picked the Chargers, but I'm not confident in that pick simply because I think it really could go either way.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. I was up in the air with this one, especially after seeing how Atlanta played this past week. I thought they showed a lot of grit, I guess. Really, they stayed in the game quite a bit. I will say though, the problem that this matchup is that the Falcons are strong in their run game, and the Chargers can't defend the run. And the Chargers are strong in their passing game, and the Falcons can't defend the pass. But when it comes down to it, the Chargers, oh my gosh. The Falcons are worse at defending the pass than the Chargers are at defending the run. And I think with the Chargers getting some run time in and Chargers coming off of a bye, I think it's going to be the Chargers kind of getting a pretty weak get right game, but still a get right game for them.
Hey,
getting a lot of their players back.
You picked the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah. Oh, Sammy mixing it up.
That's right. He's here to replace
Brady. Yeah, football Jesus.
Emmett's here to replace Tarik, but he's run away. So
yeah.
You want to come back and make another pick in a minute? Okay. So that being said, let's move on to Jessica's game of the week. Who you got?
So for my game of the week, I'm taking the ever exciting on paper Tampa Bay Buccaneers and LA Rams. LA these teams both have 3 wins. Okay, so last year we would have thought, okay, this is going to be just a shootout, a huge defensive game as well. Just dynamic offense and defense. This year is not so much. But I do think so. The Ravens are, I mean, the Buccaneers are coming off of a loss to the Ravens, right? And they looked horrendous. But it was also the same week that like Giselle and Tom Brady announced their official divorce. So I think now that that is out completely, I'm thinking that this week there might be at least slightly less distractions. That's a pretty heavy week for somebody to have, and then still go out there and try to perform. And he just didn't look like him. The problem is both of these teams have horrendous offensive lines. But with that being said, Tom Brady has adjusted because he's not trying to take a beating at his age. Tom Brady gets the ball out quicker than any other quarterback, so he takes very few sacks. Whereas, true to his nature, Matthew Stafford holds onto that ball and takes so many sacks. It's not that he doesn't have weapons on his team, he's got people to throw it to. But he just is trying to make these bomb plays and doesn't know how to get rid of the ball or doesn't want to get rid of the ball, I guess. So he's taking huge sacks. I think he's like the third most sacked quarterback. So with that being said, everywhere else, I think these teams really line up well. I think we're going to see both of these defenses that have been disappointing compared to what they are on paper. I think we're going to see both of them step up a little bit. Same thing with their offenses, but I think it's going to be a very close game, and Tampa Bay is going to come out with the win.
I think this game's going to be interesting. We're going to get another pick from the Samster.
That is not the right logo.
We have the Rams and the Buccaneers. Who do you want? The Rams? All right, cool. L.A. Rams. I'm writing these down to see if he does better than them.
You'll love it for you from here on out. That's cheating.
This game, it was really hard to pick considering you're right. Both offenses looked anemic at times. Tom Brady, yeah, he's got a lot of passing yards. He's just not getting in the end zone. So, and a little known fact, he's almost at 100,000 yards passing for the year for his career. No one has reached that milestone. He's actually, I think, 15,000 ahead of Drew Brees at this point, who was second on the list. Longevity wise, he's been there. He's done it. He's very good at protecting the ball. The problem is, I don't think he's taking the chances anymore to get it into the end zone, which is why he's not getting as many touchdown passes as he was before. He's throwing it away. He is having issues with his team on occasion because they're not performing the way he wants. Now, Matthew Stafford on the other side, he's beat up. His hands hurt. I mean, he did take him to the Super Bowl last year, but if you recall early in the season, he was throwing a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
He was struggling a lot. They turned it around in the second half. That division is not out of reach for them yet. I think the Seahawks are at 5 wins and the Rams are at 3 wins. So they're only 2 games behind. They have a lot of opportunities to catch up. I think this is going to be, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think this is going to be maybe they might reach 20, 22 points, somewhere around that range.
Combined?
No, not combined.
I don't know if you meant that low scoring.
No, like, wow. Maybe it's probably going to be like a 20 to 17 game, in my opinion. I have the Rams winning that one. Simply because they're coming off a bye. I think they've got a little bit of rest. I think they may be a bit ready to go.
The question of the week for this game, though, would be, are they still starting 5th string offensive linemen?
It's a good question.
Because that might make a difference.
It might, but
we'll see what happens, I guess.
We're going to see what happens. All right, let's move on to the next game of the week. Unfortunately, these people couldn't be here, so we're going to start with Brady. Sammy, you want to make another pick? Come on, bud. You got to make Brady's pick for him. I'll
pick that one.
You picked the Arizona Cardinals or the Seattle Seahawks? Arizona Cardinals. All right.
I was gonna
He's
say,
gonna keep popping in for that. I'm having fun with it. The Arizona Cardinals is his pick. My pick. It's not the Arizona Cardinals, although did flip flop on this one a little bit. I think the Seattle Seahawks have a winning formula right now with running the ball. They run the ball very good. Kenneth Walker has been a godsend for them this year. Rookie, real good. Geno Smith he's protecting the ball, which is what we just said that Matthew Stafford does not do. Quite frankly, I think he is performing better than Kyler is. Quite frankly, the Arizona Cardinals have to keep coming back in games. They have to keep all their victories, all their close games are because they're scoring points at the very end of the game. They're not scoring these points at the beginning of the game. They're not close until like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, which is just crazy. They keep putting themselves in a hole, and I think the Seattle Seahawks defense and the way they run their offense is going to keep them out of this game. I have Seattle for the victory.
Dobby doesn't want to go.
Does Mr. Emmett want to make a pick?
Emmett, do you want to pick a team? Look, do you want to pick one? Come here. Let's see. Which one do you think?
The red.
The red, the
The
Arizona
red.
Cardinals?
Yeah.
That's what mommy picked.
I won. Oh, he's trying.
There he is. So this one was really tough because I agree. I think the Seahawks are the ones on the upward trend. Obviously, they're continuing this momentum, whereas Arizona, it's kind of the same thing that happened like mid-season last year with them. They seem to have hit a funk, right? And Hopkins just came back and he's making his amazing catches, one-handed in the end zone where he's double covered and it shouldn't happen. But we need to see more of that for sure, and definitely ball control and no turnovers. Turnovers are really killing these teams, not the Seahawks, but a lot of these other NFL teams out here. And Pete Carroll is one of those coaches that, he is ground and pound and protect the ball at all costs. He will take less risks and have his quarterback learn fundamentals like protecting the ball, which is why Geno Smith's not really turning the ball over, and Kyler Murray will turn the ball over because he's just wilding out. But I think this week is another get right game, barely, and I'm not super confident in that because it depends on what Cardinals team really shows up. My hope is that Hopkins and Murray really, really jive this week. And I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a very competitive game, very close score. But I have the Cardinals taking it by 3.
Okay. Sorry, had to scare a cat. So, what's funny is 6-game suspension, and that man just jumped right in like nothing happened.
Yep.
So, if they can keep that kind of momentum up and something else can go right their way, running back wise, defense, whatever, they might be able to jump right back into this race. So, that being said, let's move on to Tarik's game of the week. He picked a very interesting game this week. And usually that's reserved for football.
I want the pirate and the tear.
Which one? The Jaguar or the Raider, the Pirate? The Jaguar?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good
Eggs. I'm writing down his too.
Good choice.
You might want to get his selection on the other 2 that we did earlier.
Do it.
Emmett, do you think the Atlanta Falcons?
No.
Do you think the Los Angeles Chargers?
You think the Chargers or the Falcons?
No.
He'd have to see a picture.
Okay. Well, there you go, bud. Which one of these do you think?
This one.
The yellow and blue, the Chargers.
The Chargers. LA Chargers. All right. What about this one, buddy?
What about this one?
Yeah. The one.
The Rams?
The
Mhm.
Rams.
I don't know about that.
Nice. He likes those LA teams.
Yeah.
I like his picks. I like him. He's gonna beat us all.
Yeah.
He's like that March Madness person that just picks based on color.
Mom.
Where's Sammy? You can't see him?
Sammy, Emmett wants to say hi to you. Come here. I know. And I need your pick. Say hi, Emmett.
There he is.
Raiders and the Jaguars.
Hey, look.
Got the Jaguars. You say hi, Emmett.
Mommy.
He said hi.
Jags. All right. And he's gone.
All right, now you go. Sammy's going to play.
We're gonna get some quick picks from these guys in a minute. They're the real stars of the show. These are two teams that have struggled mightily after the Jaguars actually looked pretty good in their first couple games, have fallen hard. The Raiders have not looked good in any game and were shut out last week by a surprising New Orleans Saints team. I mean, who saw that coming? I mean, there wasn't more than 160 yards passing by the Raiders. I think it was actually a lot less. Might have been like 120. And the rushing game was terrible. So the Jaguars coming off that London game, it was very close. I think that they needed a shot of adrenaline. They did actually make a trade this week. Not one that's going to help them this year.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Was it Ridley?
It was Ridley, but he's
And that's-
suspended for the year.
Yeah. And there are a lot of conditions with that trade too, depending on how he performs over time. It's
Mhm.
kind of interesting how they're structuring this stuff now.
Yeah, well, considering, I mean, he is a risk to not play again because, he was dumb enough to actually bet on a Falcons versus Jaguars game.
Yeah.
Funny, he got traded to the Jaguars, but
Yeah.
against them. But I obviously not going to help him this year. But I think, well, quite frankly, in this game, I think neither of these teams really have a lot of bite to them. I got the Jaguars simply because they're the lesser of two bad teams.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page as you. Both of these teams look really bad, but the Jaguars look slightly better. Like their play against the Broncos last week, they lost barely, and it was there were two interceptions that really cost them the game. Neither team is really trustworthy. The defense especially, but the offense on the Raiders it really has some potential, but Derek Carr looks like a hot mess. And sorry. I'm gonna go, it's gonna be a low scoring game. I think Jags are gonna be 17 and the Raiders are gonna be 14. So
Okay. Say hi to Blue. This guy keeps trying to eat stuff and not food. So let's move on to our quick hitters. Let's see. Sam, you want to come make these picks? Does Emmett want to make these picks?
Emmett, you want to come make some picks?
Come here.
Sammy's gonna make some.
All right.
Come here.
Eagles or the Texans?
Come pick.
Texans. The Dolphins or the Bears?
Dolphins.
We've got Eagles or Texans.
The Panthers or the Bengals?
Panthers.
No, look on this one. Do you want this one or this one? This one? This one.
No, I want this one.
Okay. Well, he's not pointing at the first one, so I'm going to pick the Eagles for him.
So,
You want the Chargers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chargers.
No,
Well,
that's a storm.
yeah, it's the
there's a
Storm.
star. I'm gonna make some more picks. In a
The
minute.
Dolphins or the Chicago Bears? You think the Dolphins? These are different games. Okay. And then this last one is a Carolina Panther or a Bengal Tiger. Bless you.
Bless
Bless you.
bless you.
All right, which one? No, don't do that. Do that. Which one? Carolina Panther or Bengal Tiger? Or do you need to go? All right.
No, I don't
What you got?
He's not.
You're done? You don't the Panthers or the Bengals?
I'm done.
Which one? The black and blue or the orange tiger?
Dolphins.
The Dolphins, yeah. And then the this one or this one? Oh, good choice. The Bengals.
Bengals, Cincinnati.
All right.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
what do you got here? Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions.
Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers. Okay.
Wow, you guys picked Detroit, huh?
Yeah, I actually thought that was going to be my upset, and
Oh.
3 people picked them.
Well, I mean, Brady doesn't count.
Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts or the New England Patriots.
New pictures.
New England. Okay. The Buffalo Bills or the New York Jets.
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo.
That was an easy choice.
Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings or the Washington Commanders.
Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
Washington. Interesting choice.
Yeah, this is a revenge game, Sammy. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, we got a couple more picks you gotta make. You're almost done. You're almost done. He's trying to get away before he can finish his. I'm like, hey, can I make picks? Here.
There
Oh,
they are.
We picked all these. Hey, can you pick these two? The Tennessee Titans or the Kansas City Chiefs?
KFC Chiefs.
Next one, you better answer right.
The Baltimore Ravens?
The Baltimore
Or the-
Ravens.
There
You
you
went-
go. You didn't even listen to who was playing.
All right, say bye, everyone.
Smart kid.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sammy.
Goober. All right. We have most of his picks. If you want to send me Emmett's later, he's cooperating.
Yeah.
Unanimous here. The Eagles could go to 9-0,
They
10-0.
absolutely could be Super Bowl contenders.
They could be, yes. And the Dolphins, of course, looking like they've reloaded with some really good players.
You know, I honestly had a little bit of difficulty with that game just because Justin Fields is starting to look better. But they did just trade away Raekwon Smith. Hey.
They did. The thing with that one, though, is he's not throwing for a lot. He didn't throw for a lot of yards last week or the week before. He had to run for his life.
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't, they still like, they're using him the way he should be used. He shouldn't be throwing that as much as he was.
Maybe he shouldn't.
And they have
maybe he
great run blockers. So with Herbert and Montgomery, I mean, they stand a chance in my opinion, and I think that game could go either way. So that one was a little tougher for me.
Yeah. I thought something about the game was going to be a little harder for the Dolphins, simply because he's running the ball all over the place. He actually looked decent running the ball last week, so yeah. And then of course here there's only one game that's different, and it was a shock that it was that different.
So yeah, that one's not super confident, but at some point the Packers they started to look better last week in the second half of their game. So maybe they're starting to figure out a good formula, and Detroit knows how to lose a game, right? Their defense is absolutely horrendous, and they can put up points, but they just traded away Hawkinson, and so I don't know how many points they're going to be putting up, right? They do have great weapons on their offense, but their defense is just going to give up all the points. So Aaron Rodgers can take advantage of that, then, and they stick more to the run game like they started to last week, then they actually have a shot.
They do. And of course, like I said, this was supposed to be my upset simply because I just have a feeling that the Lions are going to win.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. But, I mean, with the turmoil in Green Bay, and that's part of the reason why I made that pick. I was just surprised the other two followed suit.
Okay, well,
it kind of worries me a little bit that I picked the same thing as those two and not you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh crap.
This is our set apart week here, Sam.
Yes, it is. And then of course, Tarik is the only one that picked the Raiders. You're the only one that picked the Cardinals and the Buccaneers. which is another surprising one because I thought that one was going to be split.
That Cardinals game is actually all three. No, the bottom two games here have me worried with my picks, but I'm sticking with them. But the top, unless there's some new injuries or something before the game starts, then I will flip. But the Jaguars game, like, yeah, the Raiders could absolutely show up like we've been expecting them to, but we have seen no evidence that that's going to happen. So
With all three of these games, every single one of those teams has shown two different sides of the coin. It was really about who's going to show up for these games. So I could be completely wrong and have all three of these wrong. I hope not.
well, I hope you don't have the first one wrong.
Yeah. And then of course there's this one where we have the same. Everything's the same. Although I did consider for a moment picking Tennessee simply because of the run game. They'd be able to slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
Force Kansas City to grind one out.
Eat up the clock with King Henry.
Yeah. And I don't believe the New Orleans Saints really are going to win that game. But yeah.
I think their safety is coming back though, right? I don't want to say, I want to say Lafayette, but that's because it's freaking New Orleans, but it's something with an L.
That would be funny.
Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, defensively, they could spell more trouble for the Ravens than, other teams so far.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And then, of course, there's 6 teams on bye, which is the max. There's going to be like 2 more weeks where there's 6 teams on bye, I think. So. And that is it. So, you want to take us out, Jess?
Sure. So don't forget to, first of all, watch the entire video for us and like and subscribe so that you can see when we release new content. And Tarik's getting super fancy with all of his editing skills lately. Leave us a comment, tell us how right I am and how wrong Sam and Brady usually are. And Tarik, just be gentle. But I am Jess.
And I'm Sam. And you have a great football week.